Good evening and welcome. My name is Gatel Ruiz-Nicolas, and I will be your host for the GLN show. Haiti is currently facing a profound crisis. Friends, neighbors, they're all asking, how do I feel about what's going on in Haiti? It is a complex issue, and I have with us a guest who will really put it into perspective for us in terms of how did we get there and what are some steps that we may have to take at this point to restore peace and ensure the recovery of the country. So my friend, Frandley Julien, he is a renowned attorney in South Florida. He also is an author, as well as he's written many articles in local newspapers, the Miami Herald, the Sun Sentinel. So, Friendly, thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening, my friend Gitel. Good evening to all of our viewers. It's really a great pleasure for me. I usually watch the show, but for me to be on the show, it's really a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I wonder what are the root cause of what's going on? Because it's like over the last few years, things have really disintegrated. And at this point, it's almost uncontrollable. Tell us what is the root of the issue? When did it start?
Okay, Gitel. As you've heard, Prime Minister Ariel Henry recently announced that he was willing to resign once a transitional government is in place. But I think what we're living today started to be amplified under Ariel's stewardship of the country. Ariel Henry was appointed by Jovenel Moise 2 days before he was killed. But the normal process for Ariel to be a prime minister, according to Haitian law, was not followed because he had to obtain the blessing of Haiti's parliament. And at the time, he only had 1/3 of the Senate in
Mm,
place. So Ariel ended up being a de facto prime minister. But a second aspect of it is that Ariel never saw himself as someone who was in charge of a country. He considered himself as a placeholder for Martelly. So
mm,
all he was doing is wait for the proper time to hold elections so that PHTK, the Parti Haïtien Tête Calais, could maintain power in Haiti. So he didn't do basically anything. If you were to ask Ariel to give us a report of his administration, there's nothing to see, there's nothing he could have said because he didn't do anything. So one thing that happened, and this is an important aspect of it, is that under Jovenel Moise, he was paying the gangs. He was basically buying their obedience. So on a regular basis,
Jovenel, you mean
yes,
Jovenel Moïse?
yeah, the administration was giving money to the gangs so that the gangs could remain silent. With Ariel, Ariel always felt so powerful, although he was not powerful at all, but because he had the United States blessing, he did not keep on paying those gangs. And those gangs at the same time realized how powerful they were, and they started to develop autonomy with regard to the government. And not only with regard to the government, but also with regard to the private sector, because these gangs were created, some of them were created by the people by people in politics, but some of them have also been created by private sector individuals, and they were using them against their competitors. So at some point, those gangs, you have a fellow by the name of Barbecue, nicknamed Barbecue, Jimmy Cherizier, is a pretty astute guy. So at some point, he realized that he was more powerful than the government. He was more powerful when you compare the kind of artillery those gangs have to what the police have, they definitely outgun the police. So people like Barbecue was a pretty clever guy when he realized that they outgunned the police. They went out of control. So they stopped being controlled by the government and by the private sector.
Friendly, what are some of the initiatives the international community is taking to really assist Haiti? Because right now I'm hearing the Biden administration will be sending some funding. I understand there are other countries. Tell us what are they doing, and how is that going to be? How will the people in Haiti be accountable for the spending of that money to ensure peace and restoration?
Okay, so Gitel, you have two main initiatives going on right now. The first one is I would say, law enforcement initiative. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Through this initiative, the United States has secured the help, they have enlisted the help of the government of Kenya and some governments from the Caribbean, the CARICOM uh,
Mm-hmm.
bloc, so that they could have a mission to restore a semblance of order in Haiti. So initially, Kenya has pledged to contribute 1,000 police officers. Those are not soldiers, they are police officers. There's another country in Africa, I think they just pledged 1,000 or 2,000 members as well. Jamaica, the Bahamas, and other countries from the Caribbean, and there's some level of involvement from Brazil as well. They will contribute either men on the ground or
Mm-hmm.
logistical necessities. The United States initially had pledged $200 million. However, during the last session of the negotiation session with CARICOM, Anthony Blinken, the state secretary, was attending. He pledged another 300, 100 millions. So we're talking about $300 million pledged by the United States. Canada has pledged, I think, 80 million. I think it was 80. But that was pledged by Canada, but other countries have also promised to help. Now, this is the law enforcement component, right? On the political front, the United States has asked CARICOM to lead discussions between the Haitian stakeholders so that they can find a way to replace Ariel Henry. Now, the last of those sessions occurred 2 days ago, and during those days, they agreed on a presidential council of
Mm-hmm.
7 members. And this presidential council, so the parties that were attending were to designate their respective representatives to sit on the council. And this council, once in place, Ariel Henry will resign, and the council will appoint a prime minister. And this prime minister, the council with the prime minister, they will appoint the electoral body and they will lead the transition and organize elections to replace the political personnel. This is critical because today in Haiti, you do not have one elected official, not a mayor who's been elected, not a congressperson, not a senator, not nobody. You do not have one elected official today whose term has not ended. Everybody's term has ended as we speak.
Wow.
Now, 6 of these sectors have submitted the names. So you have Edgar Leblanc fils. Edgar Leblanc is the head of OPL.
Mhm.
Um, Leslie Voltaire. Leslie Voltaire is a member of the Lavalas Party, former minister of Haitians living abroad. Marie-Ghislaine Montpremier. Marie-Ghislaine, she ran for the Senate a couple times unsuccessfully, but she ended up being the Minister of Women's Affairs under Jovenel Moïse.
Mhm.
But initially, she was a member, and I think she still is a member of Fusion, the political party. Laurent Saint-Cyr. Laurent is from the private sector. He was also a member of the HCT, the body that Ariel Henry created with Mirlan Maninga, a pastor, and Laurent Saint-Cyr, that was supposed to be this presidential prime minister council. Fritz Jean. Fritz Jean is a former governor of the National Bank. He was the he was designated by the Montana Group to be the president of the country. And finally, one of those sectors submitted three names. And out of these three, I think CARICOM will pick one. And those names are Vicaire Son Garnier, Levaillant Louis Jeune, a former congressman, and Charles Tardieu, a former minister of education. Basically, this is where we are. The next step is for CARICOM to finalize this deal. And once they do that, they will replace Ariel Henry. Ariel will submit his resignation officially. The council, presidential council, will be put in place. They will designate the prime minister, and they will work on the electoral body.
Just a question now, those individuals who are part of the presidential council, will they be able to run to become president or
No,
prime minister?
no, no. So during those discussions, CARICOM came up with a number of conditions for someone to be a part of the presidential council. First, the person needs to commit not to run at the next elections. Second, the person cannot have been um, indicted by anybody, any institution, wherever it is in the world. The person cannot have any record, criminal record. If you have any criminal record, you cannot be a part of it. And they had to come up with that because at the beginning of the discussions, some of the parties, they wanted the gangs to have a representative on the presidential council, and the United States, the people who were there for the United States, among whom Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, they said no, we cannot take that, and they had to uh, uh, withdraw. They had to recant. Those who were supporting this idea, they had to understand that no, this was not a good one.
I agree. I agree. We're going to take a very short pause. And before we do, I want to tell you thank you, those of you who follow us in the social media and watch our YouTube channel. Please share with others, comment, like, and subscribe because it is your feedback that really helps us be who we are today as a GR Insurance.
To learn more about what we do, to get involved in our mission to help all of Broward's children learn, grow, and thrive, or to find a program or service for your children, visit us at cscbroward.org. Children's Service Council of Broward County. Our focus is our children.
We are back. I have with me attorney Frandley Julien, and we are talking about the crisis in Haiti. It keeps getting worse and worse, but I am hopeful. You were saying that, Friendly, several individuals were selected to be on the president's council. Now, one of the things I heard, and I'm happy to hear that, a member of the individuals who were part of that Montana Accord is also one of those individuals. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, you are totally correct. And this is actually more than one. And I'm
Oh,
gonna tell you why. Because Fridjean, we're talking about Fridjean, he was the uh, designated president by the Montana Accord. But you also have Leslie Voltaire. Leslie Voltaire is a member of the Lavalas Party, but initially the Lavalas Party was part of Montana as well. And Voltaire, even when Lavalas decided to part ways with Montana, Voltaire was pretty active within Montana. So I think the people at Montana, they feel that through Voltaire, they have a second member on this council.
great. Many people may not know what the Montana Accord is. Just briefly tell us, how did that become, and how can it be a benefit to us as we move forward?
So basically, shortly after Ariel Henry assumed power in Haiti, one thing that shocked people is that when President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated in his bedroom, Claude Joseph was the prime minister because 2 days before the assassination, Jovenel Moïse had designated Ariel Henry, but Claude Joseph was still the caretaking prime minister. So there was a fight between those two
Mm-hmm.
as to which one of them was going to be the prime minister. Was it going to be Claude Joseph? Was he going to keep the job? Or would he transition? Would he, withdraw himself to allow Jovenel Moïse last intention
Mm-hmm.
to materialize? So at some point, a State Department official tweeted the United States support for Ariel Henry. So basically, the United States appointed Ariel Henry through a tweet.
Interesting.
When that happened, some people from Haiti's civil society were shocked. They were hurt because a country cannot let this happen, that a foreign nation, whatever powerful it is, can appoint a prime minister through a tweet. So a group of civil society people started discussing. They said that there's a major crisis going on in the country and they needed a Haitian-led solution. And so those organizations, they started working, and the agreement that they reached was signed at the Montana Hotel. So people refer to the agreement as the Montana Accord. And from that point on, they continued to welcome other personalities and organizations in their midst until that point that they felt strong enough to have elections. So they had a democratic process through which they held elections for a prime minister and a president. So the president was supposed to assume the presidency of Haiti with the help of the prime minister. But at some point, it became obvious that they didn't have the means to impose the president and the prime minister because Ariel Henry was clinging to power.
Mm-hmm.
And the prime minister, the president was Frandley, and the prime minister was Stephen Benoit. Stephen is a former senator. He was extremely popular in Haiti to such a point that when he ran and won the Senate seat, he had more votes than the person who was elected president of the country. So in the West alone, he had more votes than the person who was elected president. I need to add that, however, when he decided to run for president, he was pretty weak. This strength does not translate into popularity in the presidential contest. So at some point, he decided to withdraw himself. He said that with an eye on facilitating a solution to the country's crisis, he resigned from the Montana framework, but Phrygia never did, and Phrygia is still the president designate of the Montana Accord.
Now, with that accord, did they tweak the Constitution a little bit? And is that where they decided that Henry should have an election?
I'm sorry, can you repeat for me, Gitel?
Right. My question is, with the Montana Accord, I thought I heard they tweaked the Haitian Constitution. And I'm wondering if this is where it came out that Ariel Henry should have had an election either last year or sometime in February.
Okay, so the Montana Accord, as what they did is they came up with a platform. They said, if we assume power, this is what we're going to do. And one of those things was to tweak the Constitution. But because they never assumed power, they never did. However, in 2012, under the Preval administration, he tweaked the Constitution, Article 149, which touches on the succession in case of a presidential vacancy. So before, after Preval, after 2012, depending on the timing of the vacancy, it's either the Assembly of Ministers or the Parliament that replaces the Prime Minister. So, and we saw the application of this article, this new Article 149, with the election of Jocelyn Prévert. So with the election of Prévert, Martelly did not hold elections on time for the replacement of the president. They resorted to this new Article 149, and Parliament voted to designate the president. And this is how Jocelyn Prévert became the president.
I see. With all of this, Julien, I'm wondering. I mean, it's really difficult for the people living there, and I know many people who are very comfortable back home, never wanted to kind of immigrate anywhere else. Things got so tough; they closed their businesses, and they are here. What do you think the steps should be to really restore that peace and give people a sense of security again?
Okay, I think we have a number of things. The first thing is the inequalities. The gap between those who have in Haiti and those who don't is too wide. You cannot have lasting peace when you have so many people in abject poverty. Today, if you go to Haiti, there's no middle class. The middle class is currently in Chile, Brazil, the United States, Canada, and France. So you either have, if someone is living in Haiti today, this person is either super rich or this person is extremely poor. But the middle class today is really, really a tiny one. Instead of that, of our traditional middle class, you have an imported middle class. So those people who work for the international organizations, those are the ones who play the role of the middle class. If you go to Pétionville, to one of those supermarkets in Pétionville, you're gonna see rich people from Haiti and people who work for the international organizations. I remember 7 years ago, I took my son to a club in Pétionville. It's a restaurant, hotel, and a club. There were about 300 people there. It's a rooftop structure. And out of 300, I think I saw something like 15 Black people.
Interesting.
Yeah, 15. And my son was, oh my God, this is shocking. Because if I had closed my eyes and let you take me here, I would have never guessed I was in Haiti. It was not even like South Florida with its diversity. It was really as if we were in a white country in Europe, you know? So this is what you have. I think the first thing we need to work on those inequalities and create opportunities for everybody.
Mhm.
This comes through the rule of law, because today in Haiti, you have a minority of rich people against which the laws do not apply. Those people are above the law. They do not pay taxes. If they import a container, the customs inspectors, they take the containers to the person's house, and this is where they inspect it, which is completely ridiculous.
Mhm.
Today in Haiti, you have people who have 15, 20 police officers on their budget. So those officers, whenever there's a problem in the country, they have those 20 officers. They say, okay, I'm going to assign those 5 to my house, those 5 to my girlfriend's house, those 10 to my business. It doesn't make sense. The second thing I think that's important in Haiti is the authority of the state. Starting in 1986, the state's authority has been waning on a daily basis to such an extent that today does not exist. Before we started the show, I heard that the current police director, his house was set ablaze and looted and set ablaze by the gangs. His actual residence, So the gangs are sending a strong signal to everybody to say that this guy has no authority. We are the ones running the show. So I think you have to restore the authority of the state in Haiti. And the third thing is we need to find a way to prevent countries like the United States, Canada, and France from leading from behind.
Mhm.
Today, you cannot appoint a police chief without the blessing of the United States. As an immigration attorney, sometimes when people are coming from Haiti, the State Department asks that they submit a police certificate. And the police certificate is issued in Haiti by the Directorate of Judicial Police, the DCPJ. So sometimes I would call the people at DCPJ to say, hey, I need this for my client. The person is coming tomorrow and stuff like that. One of those days I called and the person told me, hey, man, I cannot do it for you in a week because now the Americans are here supervising us. So you have Americans supervising Haitians in a, in such a setting. You take BLTS, the brigade, the anti-drug brigade in Haiti, they are paid directly by the Americans. You cannot run a country like that. The US ambassador, on a regular basis, they go on media, on Haitian radio, discussing Haitian politics. Oh, we want elections to be held within 90 days, within a year. We cannot continue to allow this kind of circus to continue.
So we really have to take control. We're going to take another short break and we'll be right back.
A trusted member of our community with a proven track record dedicated to getting you the justice and compensation you deserve. That's why more people turn to attorney Frandley Julien. If you've been injured in a car accident or slip and fall, trust your neighbors at the law offices of Frandley Julien. No one will work harder to help you recover your losses and relieve your future financial burdens. Schedule a free personal consultation today at 305-290-3838 or visit julienlegal.com.
We are back again. We have Frandley Julien with us, an attorney, and we are discussing the crisis in Haiti. And I am at that point, Frandley. I must ask, do we have hope for democracy? Because what I'm hearing is there is so much going on behind the scenes, and we know that countries will be sending troops and others. How do we ensure we take control of our country with the help, of course, to help restore peace? But we've got to be the person in control of our destiny. Do you feel this is something that can happen? Can it happen democratically? Share your opinion.
Gitel, I think it is possible, but I don't think it's gonna be happening anytime soon. The current political class in Haiti, they only concern themselves with getting as rich as possible. They don't care about the country. And because they are so corrupt, because they have their bank accounts in the United States, they know that American laws allow the United States to arrest them anytime and bring them here for corruption, money laundering, and you have a number of U.S. statutes that can be used against them. So these people, they don't want to oppose the United States will when it comes to Haiti. I've had several, countless discussions with people from the political class in Haiti, and they don't even realize how shocking their position is when they tell me, man, you know what, we want to know what the Americans want so that we can give it to them. So it's not in the Americans, even the American officials will tell you, we're not trying to impose our will on the Haitians, they're asking for it. And you've had very few people in power in government, René Préval being one of them to some extent, who have dared to face the Americans and say, no, I'm not doing this. This is not good for the country. And this is not a blank endorsement of Préval, because in some instances, he could have done it, he did not as well. So I don't think it's going to happen overnight. It will take some time. I think if someone wants to help Haiti today, we need to start educating the younger generation, instill in them love of country, tell them, educate them in such a way that they know how it's supposed to be, hoping that when they have the helm of the country, they will be different from what we have. I remember in 1986, we have a different political class. When we have Marc Bazin, Leslie Maniga, René Théodore, Hubert de Ronceret, And at that time, Gitel, it's only now with the hindsight that I'm looking back and say, man, you could have taken this political class, placed it in any country in the world. Those guys were brilliant. You know, not only they were brilliant, but also you take a guy like Leslie Maninga, no US ambassador would go to Maninga and ask him to do anything. They wouldn't have tried, you know. But so unfortunately, those people who could have contributed greatly to the country have been destroyed by the media in Haiti. Those to such an extent that today, those who could have helped, they don't want to get involved in politics because they know what their families do not want them to get involved. And politics has become such a dirty game in Haiti today that those who could have done something for the country, they hesitate more and more before they get involved.
It is really a shame. The gang situation, I think, is one of the first things that needs to be taken care of. And like you said, the full police chief, his home was burned, his home was looted. This is where I think the assistance of a nation might help put order. You know, like when the UN was there was some good, there was some bad, but I remember there was order. People were still traveling for vacation and so forth. So we're not asking for anyone to take the country, but at this point, we need law and order so that we can go about our business of, somebody can govern the country. So that's my hope.
And I
Any
totally,
last word? Any last word, Friendly?
I'm sorry, Gita?
Any last word?
Okay. I want to thank you, Gitel, for inviting me, and I totally agree with your assessment. We cannot lie to ourselves. We cannot get out of this alone. We need some outside help. But during the conversation that I had with some of the people, the Montana people, initially they were opposed to the Kenyan mission, but now they are supporting it. And what I was telling them is instead of spending our energy trying to prevent this from happening, we need to find a way to structure it in such a way that it brings us a different experience from past UN missions. I think
Collaboration, how
absolutely.
we're going to collaborate and work together towards that same goal.
Absolutely. And I think this is what we're seeing more and more. And we hope that continues. And we really hope for all these people living in Haiti today, which is like hell. We really hope that this year will be a better year for all those people, that the country will start experiencing some normalcy, so people can go about their business.
It's a good note to end. Thank you so much, Friendly, for joining us, and keep the good work you are doing in the community. You are able to balance both the politics here in the U.S. as well as in Haiti. Thanks again for sharing your insights.
Thank you, Gital, and same to you. You're doing great work.
Thank you. We're going to take another break, and we will be right back.
It's time for Broward Aware. What is Broward Aware? The Children's Services Council of Broward County organizes the annual Protecting Our Children campaign, which is a series of community events spread over a 4-month period. It culminates in the Family Fun and Resource Fair, which will take place this year on April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The location is the Reverend Samuel Delvaux Memorial Park, and it's located at 2520 Northwest 6th Street, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33311. What to expect? There you will meet other families, educators, law enforcement, and local organizations who will share their resources to empower our youth to reach their full potential. Bring on your family and join in the fun. For more information, you may contact the Children's Services Council via email at info@cscbroward.org, or you may call at 954-377-1000. See you on April 13th at the Family Fun and Resource Fair.
We are at the end of our show, and our last word is we believe inclusive government and unity is what Haiti now needs, according to many experts. The challenges we face require intentional action to repair the structural barriers. We need leaders who can prioritize the nation's needs, have the skills and dedication to guide the country forward. Friends, thank you for joining us tonight, and until next time, have a great weekend.
To learn more about what we do, to get involved in our mission to help all of Broward's children learn, grow, and thrive, or to find a program or service for your children, visit us at cscbroward.org. The Children's Service Council of Broward County. Our focus is our children.